Coverage of the ARCA Racing Series on Speed is brought to you by eHarmony.com, where first dates have a better chance of becoming something more. And by Ansel, for over 100 years, the world leader in hand protection. Let's go back trackside. Jim Trado, the 44 came and stopped in front of you.
Well, the thoughts were coming for gas only. The discussion between him and his crew chief, Jared Prince, were if the leader comes in, they may go a long way on gas. Let's come in for fuel only. As they peeled down pit road, they're one of the very few to come down pit road. So then Jared Prince said, guys, let's put tires on this 44. He did stall the Toyota leading, but they had the luxury of all the lead lap cars near him did not come down pit road, so they took their time. This is the Matt Crafton over the wall guys you're seeing on the screen here. This is happened moments ago. They did a 4-tire change, but Frank, unfortunately, with those tall gears, and Phil and Justin, you know more than I do about this, those tall gears in these cars, Frank had a couple of tries before it got going again after he killed it on pit road exiting.
You figure that's inexperience, Justin?
Inexperience, yeah, absolutely.
Just kidding, Frank. Yeah. I know he's going to watch this, but we're just kidding.
It is hard anytime you leave in the box because you're trying to find that balance. Do you burn the clutch out, or do you brake rear end parts trying to leave the pit road here is really grippy, and it wants to kind of pull that rear end gear apart whenever you're trying to take off. So it's a really fine balance, and killing it's a better alternative than doing damage.
Anytime you have a concrete pit road, you're going to get a lot of grip, and you know the thing is you either have to get the tires spinning or slip the clutch, or else something's going to give.
Absolutely, and especially with these tall gears, it's hard to spin them. So you slip that clutch, and sometimes it doesn't work.
Got an Aaron's Lucky Dog. We're going to give a lap back to Brett Hudson. We saw him out there running with those guys after he came off of pit road, and it's going to work out for him. He's going to get that lap back.
Going to do a little bit of work on that race car while he's on pit road. Ray Dunlap.
Well, let's hear from Joey Coulter. He has come from the garage area. You didn't make the race in Daytona, and you make this one and you crash. Which is worse?
I'm just, saving all my energy for the truck race. I don't want to work too hard. I hate it for Rip It. I mean, that's 2 races in a row where it's just terrible luck, and the guys have done a great job, but that's speedway racing. I mean, everybody's running so tight, and I don't even know where I am in that mess. Not in a good spot.
We have seen, Joey, where a lot of guys were very tight and doing some side drafting. Was it too early for that?
For the side drafted part, maybe not, but for everybody, fighting for the real estate on the bottom like they were, that's why I got out of it, and went to the top, was just because everybody on the bottom was almost like in a panic, and that's what caused it. And then after that, it was just a big mess. But we still got a teammate in the race. He's up front leading right now, so hopefully I'll still be able to walk over to victory lane.
All right, little moral support now. Joey Coulter down in Matt Lofton's pit.
Unfortunate, Joey, one of the 12 involved in that first incident. We've had some debris on the racetrack, and Gallagher's not tapping his hands on the steering wheel anymore. May 19th, the stars come out, the gloves come off for the NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race, and you'll only see it right here on Speed. See NASCAR's best square off in an all-or-nothing $1 million brawl. The NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race, May 19th at 7 Eastern, only on Speed.
$1 million, Justin. How about that?
That'd be all right.
Yeah.
I think I could manage that. Yeah.
Riding along with Zach Ralston, the 90. He's still involved in this one.
Yeah, he did a nice job of avoiding that wreck. We had one shot when we rode with him. He missed it. Now, some people ran into the side of him, but he essentially missed that wreck that took so many cars out.
He did have to go through the grass, which is not ever fun, but you're right. He did a heck of a job missing all the guys spinning around him.
Gets still under caution. This is the second caution that has taken place today. Out in front of the field, Matt Lofton has decided to stay out there. Frank Kimmel came onto pit road. He gave up his second place spot, and they're talking about potentially coming in with 1 to go and topping off once again. Is there a possibility that if there's caution laps, you could go 70 laps here? Is that
70's probably stretching it. I think that's on the outside.
It would take a lot of caution laps. Yep. We basically figure that every time you have a caution lap, that gives you an extra lap. So in other words, if you can go 50 laps and you get 10 caution laps, well, then that would be 60 laps you could go.
Okay.
I think it would take an awful lot of caution laps to be able to go that far, but I think it's a great strategy to come out and to top it off. He's towards the back anyway.
Is that what they're talking about down there, Jim?
I didn't do that great in math in college, but I did ask the crew chief, and they told me they're good till lap 78. So I went to the source. They're not good to the end, but they do want to top off here. And one fortunate break for Frank Kimmel, this Ansel Menard's Toyota. They had a right rear tire equalized, so the crew chief just told them it's a good thing we did come in. It would have been a huge issue had we not changed those tires. Ray?
You know, Jim, a number of guys on my end are a little bit concerned right now. Those up front who have decided not to pit, many of them on the radio saying, you watch, right now we'll end up getting a 40-lap green run. And that has happened here at Talladega before, so we'll keep our eye on it. But if we do get another caution in the next 15 laps, you bet those front runners are going to come just to cover up. They don't want to get in position to maybe have to pit under green.
So strategy already on lap 25. Everybody worrying about the potential of a long green flag run.
You know, you've wrecked some cars now. You've got a lot of guys out of the race. That's a very good possibility going that way. The other thing, though, going back to Frank, and one of the things that they're going to have an advantage of later, is when everybody else is filling up with 2 cans of Sunoco fuel, they're going to only have to fill up with 1. And that's going to save you time. It's going to get you out there, and hopefully you can get some track position out of it.
And he put his tires on so he could do fuel only next time. And
Absolutely.
not take the time to put tires on.
Absolutely.
So smart move by the 44 team. Maybe Frank Kimmel gets another win here at Talladega. May 18th, All-Star Week on speed hits high gear. World's toughest truckers do battle under the lights in a high-speed heavyweight showdown. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series from Charlotte. That's May 18th, 7:30 Eastern, live on Speed. Always a great show under the lights in Charlotte. And Mikey Kyle maybe trying a little strategy here. Ray, what's going on?
Well, they must have been listening to the broadcast, because they came on the radio and said, in the event we're about to get a big long green flag run, we don't want to get hung out there, bring it in for fuel. So Kyle will give up 5th place here on lap 26. They're going to pump that thing full. Also see Tom Hessert coming back in on that end of pit road too. So a few of these guys trying to get a little bit of insurance. And Jim, how about your end?
Ray, it was true to form. Frank Kimmel came in, and I think he was also listening to our broadcast, because as crew chief mentioned, when we pit again, we'll have less time on pit road with just 1 can going in versus the others. Also on pit road, Will Kimmel came down for the 3rd time. He had to change radios under the first caution. They're packing his Ford full, the tilted kilt Ford. So he indeed may be another driver on that same strategy to go later into the run. And remember, Will Kimmel finished 3rd at Daytona with a very empty fuel tank.
And you know, guys, we talk about having a possible long green flag run. We ran at 45 laps at Daytona under green in a row, so it could certainly happen.
68 laps remain here. When they get the green flag, it'll be 67. See the 68. Will Kimmel tilted kilt. You know,
The letters were crooked there.
yeah, they're tilted, I believe. There's 68 tilted kilt restaurants
Franchises
in the country.
That's pretty
You know
cool.
that?
We were actually just talking about that. It used to be on one of the trucks.
Yep.
Yeah,
Top Rhode Island had it on
main
truck.
at one time. Yeah.
And it's cool anytime you see a sponsor come back into the sport or come into the first time. I mean, we have great sponsors in this series, and it's cool to see that they keep adding to the list.
The Kimmel family keeping that racing team going, and they were very thankful that Tilted Kilt jumped on board with them for this weekend, and hopefully they'll continue on throughout the season. Again, the lights are off on the pace car. Again, out front, it's Lofton. He has not been on to pit road. We have completed 26 laps. Are you guys going to call that a mistake, or is that good strategy as they come through the tri-oval for the green flag?
I think good strategy right now.
All right, we'll find out how it plays out. Coming through the tri-oval out in front, it is the 16 of Matt Lofton. Green flag goes in the air. We're back to racing.
Brandon Davis, Chad Hockenbraw running second and third right now. Everybody driving down to the bottom and get against the yellow line.
You know, Brandon Davis has done a good job for very little experience here. He's doing a great job today.
We heard Joey Coulter talk about how important he thought everyone thought the bottom of the racetrack was. Everyone fighting for that real estate right next to the double yellow line.
See that bright yellow car, Frank Kimmel making his way back towards the front. Just stopped for fuel just a couple laps ago, and it won't be just a matter of time, and he'll be back up in the top 15.
Absolutely. And one of the things you'll see him do, especially on a restart here with the restricted plates, you go to the outside, you're looking at a lot of wounded cars in the back. So he's going to go up there. He's going to get that momentum, earlier, and he's going to be able to get by those guys, get back down to that bottom line, hopefully not lose that lead draft, and you know, stay right there, and then start picking them off, and you know, then maybe that strategy will really come into play.
See, fourth car in line right there. That's the 66 of Mark Thompson. Mark was involved in that big multi-car incident. He's the guy just trying to get that lap back, trying to stay in position to get the Aaron's lucky dog should the caution flag come out.
Mark Thompson, twice he has finished second at this racetrack, the most recent one back in 1997. He's got 2 wins in the ARCA Racing Series, but the last one came in 97 at Michigan.
Looks like he's got quite a bit of damage to the door there, so you know, hopefully it looks like it's still got plenty of speed though, so you know,
just stay in line right where he is. He's right where he needs to be. Maybe catch a caution at some point, get that lucky dog, then get back on the lead lap, and then he's got a shot at it again.
Absolutely, and it really doesn't screw any of these guys up that are behind him. You know, they're all running the same speed. The only time it's going to make a difference is come down to the end of the race. They're going to want him. They're going to want him out of there for sure.
We've had one big incident. It happens as the 94 of Steve Blackburn came out in turn number 4, went down below the double yellow line, and while he was down there, everyone tried to fill that gap, and that began an accordion effect that took place in the trioval. But we haven't seen bump drafting. We have not seen a lot of guys decide to hook up and try to work together yet. But again, ARCA has said you can't do it in the corners, so they'd have to break away in the corners, get back together. That's very difficult to do.
It is difficult. You know, the hookup of the 2-car tandem is really, really fast, but it takes a lap or so to really get it at full speed. To just do it down the straightaways, it's almost more time to be able to get hooked up, because the guy in front actually has to drag the brake. So you're slowing the front guy down. The guy in the back has to time it just right, push him. So you're really not gaining as much as if you would be able to if you were able to run, you know, pretty much all the way around. So it'll be interesting. I think at the end of the race you'll see some guys doing it, but right now it's just I think it's too early.
We're seeing 2 distinct packs now. The second pack running 2 wide. First pack right down on the bottom of the racetrack.
Most of the cars in this pack were the guys that came down pit road, topped it off. You see Frank Kimmel second in line on the inside. His nephew Will is the second car in line on the outside in the 68 car.
We had a great shot there coming out of turn number 2, the 35 of Nelson Canache. He has got that right rear fender flapping out in the wind, and so they have decided they're going to bring that 35 onto pit road and see if they can do some work to it, because it's definitely not helping him.
It's definitely not helping. But guys, one of the things I'm looking at here, Steve Blackburn is in 7th. That's a heck of a recovery. I mean, I'm looking at some of the cars that are damaged. That thing right there has actually got to be wanting to spin out the wrong way. You know, that big quarter panel, parachute sticking out the right side there. That's not going to be fun to drive.
And he stays on the racetrack. We thought he might come down to pit road that last time by. He's in a situation now where he's not going to be able to hang on to the draft, because he's starting to lose that group that he was a part of, as this front pack continues to run nose to tail down at the bottom of the track. Jim, what's happening with that Venerini number 55?
Well, it's Kevin Swindell. He just got this ride for the first of 8 races, and they've not talked a lot about trying to push the envelope. They've actually been talking about patience. His spotter is Mike Kalanoff, who spots from at Kenseth on Sundays. He's been telling his driver, stay where you need to stay. He drifted as far back as 20th on that first green flag stint. We see him now running in the 7th position. Swindell has raced 1 super speedway race here in ARCA, but again, about the patience and opportunity, Swindell is doing a very nice job in one of those 5 Venturini cars here, right in the mix. They have yet to pit, but indeed Kevin Swindell has run a very comfortable pace thus far, and being coached by some veterans on the pit box and in the spotters tower.